communities use group economics. It's a form of self-preservation. Group economics was also used very successfully by many thriving Black communities from the 1890s through the 1920s. Tulsa, Oklahoma, we heard about them, Redwood, Florida, and Wilmington, North Carolina. Most people aren't really familiar with Wilmington, but you might want to look it up. These are three of the most popular, yet there are many others in America. Let's discuss how group economics can help. Now, it's kind of interesting because in the Black community, we've had seeds of prosperity, especially during Reconstruction, the period right after the Civil War, when you had more Black politicians than ever before, Blacks in office, and also more businesses. But you know what? That prosperity was intentionally destroyed, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of interesting. This information, you would think it's readily available, but you really have to dig to find this information. So we've had many very successful entrepreneurial communities, including right here in Richmond, Virginia, where I am, Jackson Ward, of course, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Rosewood, Florida, Durham, North Carolina, Birmingham, Alabama, Wilmington, North Carolina, even Atlanta, Georgia, and some other places. But those communities were destroyed, intentionally destroyed, ladies and gentlemen, through mob violence. In 1863, New York City had a race riot where they destroyed our economic community. Wilmington, North Carolina was 1898. Atlanta was in 1906. East St. Louis, 1917. Chicago, Illinois, 1919. Knoxville, Tennessee, 1919. What about Washington, D.C., ladies and gentlemen? 1919. Of course, we know Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. Rosewood, we know that, in 1923. And also Detroit, Michigan in 1946, just to name a few, ladies and gentlemen, because a lot of this information, we can't even find it anymore. And so now that's not it. There was more things that contributed to where we are right now. So what I want to do actually is I'm going to stop for just a moment and I'm going to go and I'm going to play a video, but I'm going to go ahead and read this slide right here. So not only was domestic terrorism had a lot to do with where we are right now, and we're going to talk about some statistics so that you know exactly where we are in just a moment. But before integration, ladies and gentlemen, American cities, African-American cities like Chicago, Richmond, Atlanta, they relied on Black community banks, which were largely responsible for providing loans and boosting Black businesses, churches, and neighborhoods. But after desegregation, Black wealth started to hemorrhage from our communities. White-owned banks were opened. They were forced to open their doors. African-Americans began to use them. And the money that once flowed into Black banks, they began to flow out of the community. And guess what? The Wall Street and our communities began to disappear, ladies and gentlemen. We started to lose a lot of our businesses and support for our businesses. And the toxic side of integration, ladies and gentlemen, was that we began to lose our business communities. And then, of course, the financial meltdowns in 2007 and 2008 wiped out 40% of African-American wealth, ladies and gentlemen, killing off many of these already struggling community banks and they did not receive any of the bailout money. And the erosion of the historic Black communities created the loss of a vibrant part of Black history. The tenacity and resilience required to create hubs of Black wealth exemplified what is possible in America. But their downfalls also show us how fragile our economic advancement could be in a racialized community. So I want to stop here for just a moment. I'm going to play just two short videos which kind of give us a lot more detail on exactly where we are right now in the midst of things. So bear with me one moment. I'm actually going to stop my screen for a minute, and I want to play these two short videos because they illustrate what we have in a situation very, very well. Let me just do this real quick. All right, and we need to go here. And let's play these two videos for you. We're going to start off with this one, which actually is was in CNN Money magazine, ladies and gentlemen. This is the money section. I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. You should be able to hear this in a moment. And this is only about 2 minutes.
Dig deep into America's $17 trillion economy, and you'll find fractures beneath the surface. The spoils are split unevenly between men and women, old and young, high school dropouts, and MBAs. But one of the most divisive disparities is only skin deep. This is the economy in black and white. Everything you own, houses, stocks, cars, that's your wealth. In 2011, the wealth of the median white household was over $110,000. African Americans on average, 17 times less, just over $6,000. And housing has a lot to do with it. For the average American, their home is the most valuable part of their portfolio. It's an investment that can appreciate with time, and it can be passed from one generation to the next. But the rate of homeownership among whites is 28% higher than that of blacks, and the lingering effects of segregation could be to blame. Discriminatory practices by the Federal Housing Administration prevented African Americans from buying houses in many suburban neighborhoods. The Fair Housing Act of 1968 sought to level the playing field. But by then, African Americans were entering a housing market that had already seen massive appreciation. Meanwhile, white families had seen their housing investment soar in value during their head start. Fast forward to the 21st century, minority groups were again victims of housing exploitation, this time by big banks. Bank of America and Wells Fargo, among others, were compelled to pay hundreds of millions of dollars in fines and restitution for pushing minorities into exploitative subprime mortgages and charging them higher rates and fees. This contributed to the fact that blacks and Hispanics lost nearly a quarter of their wealth between 2004 and 2010. Whites lost just 1% during that same period. So the American economy houses two realities, one black, one white. The divide between them, a measure of inequality.
What's going on up here?
What is that? That's a Blazer? It's a Chevy Blazer?
Oh, this is dope. Oh, I love the light.
It looks like a piece of candy.
It's gorgeous.
It's just really chic.
I want. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, stand by.
All right, great. And so the thing you should notice from that previous video, ladies and gentlemen, is that the government was involved, developers were involved, and the banks were involved. It was a concerted effort and multiple entities involved that created that situation that robbed the African-American community of their inheritance. And that's basically what that is, but that's just a part of it. I'm going to play another video here, and this shows you how long it would take for black families to catch up with white families, the kind of wealth that they have just right now. Let's get into this one. This is 2 minutes as well.
What's up, guys? Cindy Michelle here for Complex Hustle. Whether you associate yourself with the melting pot of minority groups in this country or not, one thing everyone comes to America for is to generate wealth and reach financial freedom. But how even is the playing field in America? A new study shows that it's not a fair playing field at all, with white Americans having the lead for centuries. A study titled The Ever-Growing Gap by the Corporation for Enterprise Development and the Institute for Policy Studies concluded that it will take black families 228 years to accumulate the same wealth as white families. The report states, if the average black family's wealth continues to grow at the same pace it has over the past 30 years, it will take black families 228 years to accumulate the same amount of wealth that white families have today. Now, if the trend continues, the average wealth accumulation in white households will grow by over $18,000 per year. Latino households will grow by about $2,000 per year, and black households by just $765 a year. Now, you can even see this gap in the business world as well. Whites accumulate wealth at a 12-to-1 ratio to blacks, with African Americans having an average net worth of $11,000 compared to the $144,000 for whites. Now, some groups blame the era of slavery for setting people of color back economically. Although we're years removed from slavery, many believe that the economic effects of that time still affect people of color today. A group of more than 60 organizations affiliated with the Black Lives Matter movement proposed a solution, releasing policy platform that includes reparations and breaking up banks. The platform released last Monday calls for reparations, an end to the death penalty, and forgiveness of student loans. It also urges the federal government to officially acknowledge the devastating impact of 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, and mass incarceration. Now, you may not agree with the solutions proposed by the Black Lives Matter movement, but you have to stop and realize that in a few decades from now, a majority of people in the US will be people of color, but will still have less wealth than the whites they outnumber. By 2043, the year in which it's projected that people of color will make up a majority of the US population, the wealth divide between white families and Black and Latino families will have doubled, on average from about 500,000 in 2013 to over 1 million. Now that fact alone at least makes me want to research and explore solutions to close the wealth gap, whether it's backed by Black Lives Matter or not. We need a solution that both equals the playing field and doesn't diminish the wealth of those who have already attained it. For more stories like this, subscribe to Complex Hustle on YouTube and stay tuned for more entrepreneurial news. For Complex Hustle, I'm Sydney.
So we need something that can level the playing field, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why we're on this call tonight. Because in every area of life, whether you're talking about health, education, you're talking about finances, you're talking about incarceration, it doesn't matter what area you're talking about, we are hurting extremely, extremely bad. And so if you begin to research the information, you'll begin to see how serious this situation is. So just for an example, before I move on to our PowerPoint, African Americans, out of 98 ethnic groups in America, African Americans are number 94. We're the poorest in terms of wealth. We're down at number 94. White Americans have 17 times more wealth than African Americans. On average, $161,000, where we have about $10,000 of wealth. That's assets that you could sell or you could convert into dollars at any time, minus any debt that you have. So a tremendous disparity. What can we do about it? That's why we're here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So let me go ahead and get my PowerPoint back going, and we will continue on. Bear with me one second. All right, so I wanted to show you that video. I think on the next presentation, I'll just have the statistics written out for everybody. So let me get back here, and then we're going to continue on. All right. All right, so here it is. What is the solution, ladies and gentlemen? Well, the first bullet point, the easiest, fastest way for us to make a major difference in the lives of our families and our communities, and the least cost-effective way, is what's known as group economics. While there's no formal definition, group economics can be defined as one group of people who have a common economic interest. This group agrees to actively and consciously pursue their economic interests together to create a sustainable and secure economy for themselves and for their family. So we're talking about an extra $2,000 a month, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month coming into your household. What could that do for you in your economic situation? This is what we're talking about here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So how do we grow this community? We grow this community by sharing our message. That's why you're here tonight. One of the things that we do here as a community is get the message out, let people know what's possible when we come together in partnership with one another, even with just a little bit of money. That's what's so profound about it. So how much money are we talking about? We're talking about $58 one time out of your pocket. You literally never have to go back in your pocket again. So we're talking about the cost of a dinner for two people. That's what we're talking about. This is money that we're going to spend anyway. And in most cases, we're not even going to know what we did with it. It's a one-time $58, ladies and gentlemen. So this is affordable for everybody. And then it's $29 every 28 days. But here's the thing. It automatically comes out of your proceeds, not out of your pockets. So we're going to take a few moments to explain it to you so you can wrap your head around this and see how powerful this concept is. Now, the following examples are for illustration purposes only and are not a guarantee of the contributions you will receive. What a person receives is based on their individual work ethic and other factors beyond your control. So the first thing I want you to understand is that this concept is all about automation, ladies and gentlemen. This is a proven concept from years of other concepts that have been used out there and have worked and have become very effective. But because of the internet, technology, and automation, we're able to do things that our parents could only dream about. So this is a system that can provide daily and weekly funding for you and I. This innovative proprietary software makes it possible. And it just so happens that this software is owned by an African American as well. So it operates on autopilot. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. So first thing you need to understand is that we have one community, but we have two sources of funding. One source is going to pay us on a weekly basis every Monday. The other source is going to pay us on a daily basis based on the activity and the growth of the community. So the Infinity Plan pays us on a weekly basis. Now, to get this going, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want to personally invite at least 4 members to join our community. 4 people with $58 who want to participate in our movement, who want to create some cash flow for their families and their communities, and all it takes them is $58 one time out of pocket. All right? They're not hard to find. And so now when you do that, the first thing it's going to do, it's going to enable you to receive about $43 a month in the Infinity Plan. Now, the reason that is so important is because we pay $29 every 28 days in the Infinity Plan, but you can see that it's coming out of your proceeds. That's why you never have to go in your pocket. But it doesn't stop there, because when you bring those 4 people in the community, they also go into the Fund Me Plan at the same time. One community, 2 sources of funding. The Fund Me Plan pays out daily, and that's $12.50 per person. So we're going to show you how to use this software to facilitate everything that we're talking about right now. So as you bring people in the community, it's going to cause you to earn more money in the Infinity Plan, which pays out every week, and also more money in the Fund Me Plan, which pays out every day. By the way, we make withdrawals and we get paid within 24 hours, all right? So this is cash flow coming in that you can use to buy groceries, to pay bills, to do whatever you need to do. This is consistent cash flow that most people need. But it doesn't stop there, because the people that we refer, they want to do the same thing so they can maximize our system. So we're going to say that those 4 people, they also refer 4. So that means you're going to have about 16 people on your second tier. And guess what? Your monthly returns, your monthly income is going to increase to $163 a month. Now, by the way, that's paid out every week, every Monday. But I want you to understand this. Because more people join the community, you're getting additional $12.50 contributions at the same time, especially if you referred the individual. But it doesn't stop there. As the community continues to grow, those 16, they refer their 4, you're now up to $404 a month on autopilot. That's about $100 a week. Could you use an extra $100 a week coming in, and all you paid was $58 one time out of pocket? But it doesn't stop there, because the Fund Me Plan is going to continue to pay out to you as you personally refer, and some people and some other people in our community do the same. But it doesn't stop. As those 64 people refer 4, now you're up to $885 a month. And as those people refer 4, now you're over $1,800 a month. Now, for some of us, that's enough to pay the rent, and that's enough to pay the mortgage without you relying on your paycheck. All right? But now it doesn't stop there, because you're not going to want to stop at 4, ladies and gentlemen. You want to refer 8. Let me tell you why you want to do that. Because that's going to triple the amount of funding that you're going to receive from the Infinity Plan. So when you referred 4, you were at $43 a month. But when you refer 8, you're at $129 a month. And so now we're going to say that those 8, they just go out and refer 4. So now on your second tier, you're over $500 a month already. And on your third tier, you're over $1,300 a month. Then you're over $2,800 a month. And then you're over $6,000 a month coming in on autopilot, being paid out to you every week. What did you do? You paid $58 one time out of your pocket. You went out, you shared our movement and our community with 4 people. Then you went out and shared it with 4 more. Okay? Now, here's the thing. The people that you referred, do you think they would like to triple their monthly returns in this program as well? Absolutely. So in the third column, we're going to say that you refer 8 and those 8 refer 8. That means on your second tier, you're now at $800 a month. On your third tier, you're over $2,100 a month. Then you're over $4,800 a month, and then you're over $10,000 a month. Now, let me explain this to you. Okay, I've personally referred 100 people to this program. What does that mean? There is no limit to the number of people that you can refer, and this pays out to infinity. So when we say 2,000 a month, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, that is real, but you need to understand that's the tip of the iceberg. We have a movement. We want to find people who understand what time it is, who's willing to take a little bit of what they are already spending and direct it toward our community, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we're looking for. Now, I want to give you a little summary of what I just shared with you. So first of all, you receive approximately $5 per member in the Infinity plan. Those are coded bonuses, and you get to understand all these details later. The software works perfectly. It doesn't make mistakes, all right? Also, you earn about $12.50 for each personal referral and each person referred by your inner circle in the Fund Me plan. You'll understand those details later. Don't worry about that for right now. So let's give you an example. So you have 10 referrals that come in the Fund Me plan. That's $125 paid to you that day. You have 20 members that come in, that's $250 paid to you that day. 30 members, that's $375 paid as soon as they join. That money is in addition to the money that you're receiving from the Infinity plan that pays out every week, every Monday. So you got daily money and you got weekly money, okay? Let's go a little further. So once you have referred 8 members, remember that? You receive $16 coded bonus in the Infinity plan and $12.50 when they come in the Fund Me plan. Remember, they come in both plans at the same time. That's $28 per person, all right? And so this starts to get pretty interesting when you begin to look at the potential for both parts of this program. Okay, now, if this is all it was, that would be enough to change a ton of lives, but there's actually more, ladies and gentlemen. We have a third income stream. So this, what I'm showing you here, is just shows you the funding that you're receiving on the various levels on the Infinity plan, okay? So we have detailed trainings. If you don't catch this, don't worry about it. You just need to know one thing. $58 one time out of pocket, refer as many people as you can. So now, we have a second part of the program, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the auto upgrade. See, in the Fund Me plan, in the beginning, you were just getting $12.50. Well, what you're going to want to do is once you start building up your daily income, you're going to want to turn on this auto upgrade button. You're going to understand why. So you got $100, $200, a week, $100 a day, $50 a day, whatever coming in. You got plenty of money coming in. You're going to want to turn this auto upgrade button on because it's going to accelerate your income. So let me tell you what I mean. So every time 6 people come in over here and you get that $12.56 time, which is $75, when you turn this auto upgrade button, the system's going to take $50 out of what you received over here, and it's going to upgrade you to the gold level. At the gold level, you're now qualified to receive not only $12.50, you're qualified to receive $25, as the members you referred also upgrade in this part of the program. So once you have that money coming in, you've got plenty, you might as well upgrade, because when you do that, you can receive more. So once you have received at least $100 at the gold level, when you have that auto upgrade button on, the system's going to upgrade you to the emerald level. So now you're qualified to receive $50 contributions from the community in addition to those other 2. Once you have received at least $200, the system's going to automatically upgrade you to the diamond level, so you can receive $100 payments from the community. And once you have received at least $400, the system's going to upgrade you to the crown level, where you can receive $200 payments from the community. So I want you to see this. You're now qualified to receive $12.50, $25, $50, $100, and $200 over and over again as people in your community and others activate this part of the program and upgrade. So myself, Nevada Howard, we've done this. It took me 9 days to get to the crown level. Not sure how many days it took Nevada, but this is awesome, because this is what I want you to understand. Let me summarize this. Out of your proceeds, without you ever going back in your pocket again, you've contributed $775 to the community, but you've received over $2,300. That leaves you a surplus of $1,500 per person. per person that turns on that auto upgrade button and goes through these 5 levels. And this is what I want you to understand. They can do it multiple times, not just one time. It can happen over and over again. And so this takes everything to the next level, ladies and gentlemen. And this is where we're going. One community, but 3 income streams with only $58 one time out of pocket. We just have one job. What is that? Share. Make the movement happen. Invite people to our concept, because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we need it, and it's absolutely our time. So when we come together and focus our efforts, ladies and gentlemen, our financial success is assured. It's just a matter of the numbers. And if we aren't helping each other build and grow, then we just don't understand the economic power that we already have, ladies and gentlemen. We spend $1.3 trillion a year right now as a community. How much of that, if you had to determine what percentage actually stays in our community, can you guess? 10% maybe? Maybe 5%? What about 3%? Only 3% stays in our community. 97% goes out into other people's community. So you have other communities that get 100% of their money, plus they're getting a bunch of our money. They want us to stay where we are. We have to be smarter than that. We're saying just take a little bit of what you're already spending, let's direct it toward ourselves, and let's change some lives, let's change some families, let's change some communities. This is what we're talking about here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So if you can ask this question, or you and the question is going to go like this. We have started an economic movement that provides daily and weekly income for our families and communities. Are you open to watch a short video that explains how it works? If you can do that, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? You can do something awesome for your family with this very powerful program. It is really that simple. So it's all about the power of wealth building, ladies and gentlemen. It's within our reach. Can you see that? It's right there within our reach. All we need to do to make this a reality is partner. That's it, partnership. And so I want to ask you, how many of you are ready and willing to join us in this movement? Because I want you to understand, we don't have to bring the world, ladies and gentlemen. We just need a few people, 4 people or 8 people each. And everything changes for you and for I. And that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you in advance to Fund Me 24/7. This company has been in business since the beginning of the year. It works fantastically. Everything is awesome. We know the owner personally, and it is absolutely real, ladies and gentlemen. We are a community of family and friends, empowering financial wellness together. Won't you join us? Thank you so much for letting me share all of that. So back to you, Nevada.
Wow, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for the eye-opening presentation that you did this evening. We are here to lessen the disparity between the African American communities and the other communities with this powerful proprietary distribution formula that occupies this particular business venture. And many of you may say, well, I like it, but what's the product? If you've heard of GoFundMe, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, ask yourself, what is GoFundMe's product? GoFundMe's product is the platform. You place your project or whatever it is that you need money for, you place it on the platform. And when you do that, you're able to share that with your friends, family, associates, and they come and they make donations towards your project. And the platform then becomes the product. And so here we also have a platform that is the product. So this isn't some pie in the sky, or this isn't some type of illegal activity. We're coming together, funding. That's what it's called. We're coming together to help each other fund the various projects that each of us has. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we've kept you long enough here this evening. Get back to the person who invited you to this call. Don't worry about it if you don't understand all the nuances just yet. When you started your job, many of us have worked a job. I thank God I don't work one anymore. I haven't in so long I can't even remember when I did. But nevertheless, when I walked on that job, I had no idea how it worked. I didn't learn it in one day. I didn't learn it in 2 days. Took me a while to learn exactly how it worked. But because I didn't know how to do it, did not stop me from getting paid at the end of the week. So don't let that stop you. You will learn everything that you need to learn in order for you to begin to get funding for your family so that you can change your family's life and also change your community. So again, with that said, get back to the person who invited you to this call. We will see you again next Tuesday evening. If you need us to do a presentation, we have many churches who have come aboard for funding for the church as well as the community. And that's the thing I love about this, because generally speaking, you're asked to make funding for someone else or give funds or donations to someone else. But here, it's not about just giving to someone else. It's also you're able to give and you're able to receive your own stuff. So that makes it worth it to want to be a part of the movement and a part of the platform. So if you have a special group, maybe you have a group of family members that you'd like for us to do the presentation for before Tuesday, that's fine. Just let us know and we'll do it for you. Otherwise, we'll see you again on Tuesday. We also have videos of the various presentations that we do that you can also share with your family and friends. The most important thing is that this is the Uber. This is the Airbnb of the economics of bringing more money into your household. So I'd like to, again, thank each and every one of you for tuning in this evening. This call is now officially over. Bye-bye for now.